The stars were quiet that night. In a distant part of the galaxy, far beyond the Council's core worlds, something terrible was happening. The peaceful Hilari people, known for their art and music, were burning. Their sky was filled with black smoke. Cities that once floated above oceans were now crashing into flames. The Hilari did not understand war. They had no armies, only scientists, engineers, and dreamers. The enemy had no face. It came like a wave of darkness-black ships, millions of them moving without sound, without mercy, called themselves the Zarkith. They did not speak. They did not stop. They only destroyed. The Hilari sent messages to the Galactic Council. Please help. We are under attack. We cannot fight. They waited for days. Only silence came back. Then one scientist, Yari Talon, made a choice no one thought possible. We will call Earth, she said. Earth. Others whispered, the ancient humans, they do not speak to anyone. They watch, they listen, but they never help. Yari pressed a button. The signal was sent. It carried only 6 words. We are dying. Please help us. No one knew if Earth would even hear it, but Earth heard. 3 hours later, a signal returned. It had only 3 words. We're coming now. The Council was shocked. When they learned of the Hilari message to Earth, they were angry. A meeting was held on the core planet of Veltron. Thousands of leaders from different species shouted across the chambers. They are primitive. They broke contact with us centuries ago. They will bring chaos. But none of that stopped what came next. On the 6th day, a Hilari child looked up at the sky and screamed. Something was moving in orbit, silent, massive, and black. Dozens of ships shaped like daggers floated above the burning planet. They had no lights, no flags, no symbols. The Zarkith, sensing something new, paused their attack. They scanned the newcomers, but the ships gave no data, no frequencies, no known signals. Then the attack began, but not from the Zarkith. One by one, the Black Earth ships opened fire. Strange blue beams tore through space. Zarkith's ships vanished without exploding. They were simply erased. On the ground, robotic drones dropped from Earth vessels. They landed without noise and began moving like shadows, targeting Zarkith. Ground forces with deadly precision. There were no shouts, no drums of war, no speeches, just pure cold silence. The Hilari watched from hiding places, confused and afraid. Who were these beings? Were they even human? What Hilari soldier, one of the few alive, said, "They don't move like soldiers. They don't speak. It's like they've done this 1,000 times before." Across the galaxy, council members were watching through secret channels. And for the first time in many years, they were afraid. "Why are they here?" one asked. "Came for no reason," said another. "No," replied a quiet voice in the chamber. "They came because someone begged." Zarkith tried to fight back, but nothing worked. Their weapons passed through Earth's shields as if hitting glass. Their systems jammed. Their ships stopped mid-flight and fell from the sky like stones. In orbit, Earth's largest ship moved forward. It was shaped like a blade, smooth and black. No one could see inside. Then a message was sent. It did not go to the Hilar. It did not go to the Council. It was sent to every race in the galaxy on every open channel. 5 words. Observe. Do not interfere. Watch. Then the channel went dark. On Hilari Prime, the war was over in just 2 Earth hours. Every Zarkith ship was gone. Not destroyed, gone, like they had never existed. But Earth did not leave. Instead, they stayed silent, orbiting the Hilari world. Their ships scanned the planet, but never landed. Their drones helped clear the debris, rebuild communication towers, and heal the wounded. No questions asked. No reward taken. They simply worked. And then, as quietly as they had come, they left. All but one ship. It remained, hovering in the sky. A gift, perhaps, or a warning. The Hilari were alive but changed. They held meetings with their leaders and scientists. What are they? Why did they come? Are they really human? Yari Talon, who sent the signal, had no answers. only stared at the sky and whispered. They answered. No one else did. Back at the council, fear turned to anger. They used forbidden tech. They have weapons that can erase matter. They made us look weak. The council sent a private message to Earth. They demanded an explanation, asked Earth to attend a hearing. They waited. No answer came. Instead, a single message appeared in the council's secure archives. A human face appeared, calm, expressionless. He wore a black uniform with no rank. He spoke quietly. We responded to a cry for help. We do not serve your laws. We protect what we choose. Do not contact us again unless it is a matter of survival. Earth is watching. The message ended. No one could trace it. No one could hack it. A few days later, a small council ship tried to follow one of Earth's returning vessels. Within minutes, it vanished from all scanners. Not destroyed, simply lost. From that day forward, the galaxy changed. Smaller races whispered in corners about Earth. They came when the council failed. They don't speak like us. They are something else. Some began to see Earth as a savior, others as a threat. But one thing was clear: the galaxy had begged Earth for help. And what arrived terrified them all. The galaxy was still holding its breath. After Earth's ships left Hilari Prime, fear spread faster than the Zarkith ever had. No one expected Earth to answer a cry for help. And no one expected the kind of power Earth had shown. The council sent more messages, some polite, some demanding. All were ignored. Earth said nothing. Earth explained nothing. But Earth was not done. On the planet Theros VI, another colony was attacked. It was not a Hilari world. This one belonged to the Durnek, a species known for trade and technology. Their defenses were stronger, their army was trained. But it didn't matter. The Zarkith returned, and within hours, cities fell. This time, the Durnek did not call the council, they called Earth. The message was short. Panicked. Please, we request immediate help. They are here. There was no answer. Not right away then. 6 hours later, the sky above Theros VI darkened. No engines. Just the sudden appearance of ships black, massive, and terrifying. The Durnak leaders ran to greet them. They prepared landing fields. They sent welcome signals. But Earth didn't land. They didn't speak. They just acted. From orbit, Earth's ships began firing. But these were not the same weapons used on Hilari Prime. These were new, stranger. Beams of orange. Light sliced through Zarkith cruisers like paper. Gravity fields crushed enemy tanks into dust. Sonic waves flattened entire legions without damaging. The buildings nearby? One Durnak general watched in silence, his hand shaking. They're not just here to help, he said. They're showing us something. Down on the surface, people looked up in awe and terror. Earth's drones were faster now, smarter. They didn't just kill, they hunted. One Zarkith tried to escape. The drone followed it for 30 kilometers across hills and ruins before finally striking. It used no bullets, no lasers, just a soft pulse of blue light. The Zarkith dissolved into dust. Then the drone turned and flew. Back into the clouds. The council couldn't understand. How had Earth advanced so far in silence? How were they hiding all these years? Council agents watching the battle reported strange things. Earth's ships never refueled. Their drones never missed. They did not speak to anyone, not even each other. But what truly shocked them was what came next. Earth sent no thank you message, no political statement, no demands. They simply left. The Zarkith were gone from Theros, VA the Durnek were safe, but fear remained. One council observer, a Telenite named Ferris, reported something strange before leaving the system. He had approached one of Earth's ships. With a message drone, he tried to communicate directly. The drone never returned. Instead, Ferris received a single visual from inside the Earth ship. A single hallway, clean, empty, and in the center, a soldier tall, human-shaped, but different. His face was hidden behind a smooth helmet with no eyes. His armor looked grown, not built. Black with faint red lines, pulsing like blood, and in his hands. He held no weapon, only his silence. Then the signal cut. Ferris wrote only one thing in his report. They are not diplomats. They are something else. Back in council chambers, panic turned to planning. We must learn their technology. We must control Earth. But no one moved. No one dared. Meanwhile, across the stars, small worlds began sending quiet messages to Earth. Not through council channels. Not through official means. Private signals. Please help us. Please protect our colony. Please. Come, and Earth answered. Each time in the same way, no flag, no name, no introduction, just ships, just silence, just action after each battle. The survivors were left safe, but shaken. They described Earth's soldiers in strange ways. They don't talk, they don't blink. They feel like machines, but they're not. They move like they already know what will happen. Rumors spread fast. Some believed Earth had made a deal with death itself. Some said Earth had gone to far mixing machine and man into something unnatural. But others believed something else, that Earth had not changed. They had simply prepared that. All this time while the galaxy played politics and trade, Earth had been watching, building, waiting, preparing for war. Not just a war of planets, but something worse. Something no one else had seen coming, something that Earth expected. Now, the Council feared the truth. What if Earth wasn't rising? What if Earth had already won long ago, and was only now stepping into the light? On a hidden world called Trevok Minor, Council leaders gathered in secret. They discussed Earth's actions. They debated using force. We must stop them, said one. We must study them, said another. But the oldest voice in the room said only this: you don't attack a storm, you survive it. Still, they needed answers. They needed to know what Earth had become. So they made a decision they would send a spy, a trusted one. Someone with skill, speed, and silence. His name was Vrel Kor, a shadow among shadows. Trained to hide in war zones, skilled in 10 languages, capable of disappearing even in bright light. His mission was simple: enter Earth's fleet, find the truth, return. Alive, he smiled as he accepted the mission. No one smiled back. They knew the danger, but they needed to try, because Earth was moving not slowly, not carefully, but with certainty, like a hand pulling back the curtain, like a predator that had finally stood up in just one solar cycle. Earth had responded to 3 attacks across the galaxy. 3 systems saved, 3 fleets erased, and not one single loss on Earth's side. Now, the stars were quiet again, but it was not peace. It was waiting, waiting for the next scream, waiting for the next message, waiting for Earth. The sun rose over the ruined city of Veltron, casting light on the ashes of another failed invasion. The Zarketh were gone. Not defeated, removed. Survivors walked through the streets, afraid to speak, afraid to touch anything left behind. By Earth's strange warriors, they didn't look like soldiers. They didn't talk. They didn't follow anyone's orders. They just appeared. And everything changed. The survivors called them shadows, ghosts, machines wearing human skin. One child said he saw a figure walk through a wall without opening a door. Another said the soldier looked at him, and for a moment the air went cold, like time had stopped. These were not rumors. These were real experiences. From system to system, reports kept arriving. Earth's ships were saving colonies, but they left more questions than answers. Who were these soldiers? Were they human? Had Earth created something new? The spy, Vrel Kor, had finally reached his target. Hidden deep inside Earth's fleet, he observed them closely. He expected arrogance. Noise, confusion typical of most war-driven civilizations. What he found was worse. It was silence. Everything was too perfect. No commands were shouted, no fear. In the soldiers' movements, they trained in complete focus. No talking, no joking, just precision and what they trained for. Made Vrel sweat. Their simulations weren't about small battles. They were about full extinction. Galaxies, baked clean black holes, turned into weapons. Creatures made of thought and time, they were preparing for something far beyond the Zarketh. Far beyond what any council species had imagined, Vrel sent a report to the council. "They do not fight like us," he wrote. "They do not feel fear. They do not fight for power or territory. They fight because they know what's coming." Council didn't understand what's coming, one asked, but Vrel didn't answer. He had seen more. In a sealed lab, he saw something that broke his mind. Earth's soldiers were not born. They were made, not clones, not robots, but rebuilt humans. Each one had been through war after war, death after death. Their minds held memories of thousands of battles. They weren't just trained, they were downloaded with experience. Pure, concentrated experience. Vrel saw one soldier stand in a dark chamber. He was plugged into a machine. His body shook. His eyes opened, but there was no life in them. He had become something new. The lab lights turned red, and suddenly, Vrel knew. These were not soldiers. They were war itself. Walking, he tried to leave. To escape, but the ship shifted, as if it knew he was there. The doors locked. The air changed. Then a voice spoke in his mind. "We allowed you in, Vrelkor." His heart stopped. He hadn't told anyone his name. "We allowed you to see that," the voice continued, "because we wanted you to understand." "Understand what?" he asked aloud, trembling. "That we are no longer preparing for war," the voice said. "We are preparing to end it." Then everything went dark. Back at the council, weeks passed. No word from Vrel, no data. Only silence, until one day. A strange message appeared in the council's core server. It had no source, no trace, only a file. Inside, it Vrel's voice, shaking, cold, tired. "I saw them. I saw what they became. And I understand now. Earth didn't evolve. Earth was forged, in fire, in death, in loss. They are not here to join us. They're here to protect what we refuse to protect. And if we get in their way, we will disappear, just like the Zarketh." The message ended. Council members sat frozen. For the first time, the chamber was silent. Every race that had once mocked Earth feared them now. They remembered the old story centuries ago when Earth pulled away from the galaxy. When their transmissions stopped, they closed their borders and disappeared behind black walls of silence. Everyone thought Earth had given up, but they were wrong. Earth was healing. Earth was preparing, and now Earth was awake. Smaller planets began to whisper of Earth's soldiers. Some called them protectors, others reapers. On the edge of the galaxy, a mining world sent a private message to Earth. "We are under threat. We request your aid." No reply came, not for hours. Then a soft blue light appeared in orbit. The miners looked, panned, wept. They knew what it meant. Help had come, but they didn't celebrate. They only watched and waited, because when Earth's warriors arrived, nothing would be the same again. And in their hearts, every being who had seen them knew one truth. They weren't soldiers. They were something else. Something the galaxy was never meant to face. But now, it had no choice. The council grew restless. Every week, another world was attacked by the Zarketh, and every time Earth responded, silent black ships arrived, battles ended in minutes, and the enemy disappeared like shadows in the sun. But Earth never spoke. They never stayed. They never asked for anything in return. The galaxy watched in fear and confusion. Was Earth a savior, or something far more dangerous? The council needed answers, real ones. So they made a final decision. They would send another spy, but not just anyone, this time. They chose Commander Yurn Drax. He was the best, trained in zero-gravity combat, infiltration, and deep language mimicry. He had studied ancient human history, Earth's lost wars, and even learned human behavior through old recovered footage. He wasn't afraid until he saw the ship. It was massive. black as the void and shaped like a blade pointed at the stars. No lights, no windows, no noise. It floated near the dead moon of Eretos. Where Earth's forces had last been seen, Yurn's stealth pod drifted toward the vessel like dust in the wind. No alarms triggered, no. Defense systems responded. He docked quietly and entered. Inside, there were no guards, no humans, no movement. Just long metal corridors and flickering blue lights that seemed to pulse like veins. He moved deeper into the ship, planting signal beacons for the Council, but every room he entered looked the same clean. Cold, empty, until he found the chamber. It was a vast room with hundreds of black pods standing in rows. They glowed faintly, humming like sleeping beasts. He crept forward. Inside each pod was a human, but not asleep, not dead, something in between. They didn't breathe. Their eyes were open. They were watching, but not blinking. One of them moved it. Didn't break the pod. It simply stood inside the glass. And then the lights went red. You are in froze. A voice, soft but deep, filled the room. You are not one of us. He turned. No one was there. The voice came again. You are not here to learn. You are here to judge. I came to understand, Yurn whispered. You came to spy, the voice replied. But you may still see. Suddenly, the walls changed. They shimmered, like glass becoming water, and through them, Yurn saw visions, cities in flames, Earth's skies broken by war, humans fighting humans with weapons that abtor time and air. Collapse of oceans. The silence after nuclear fire he saw. Earth destroy itself 3 times and rise again. He saw humans rebuild their world. Not with hope, but with warning. He saw them swear never to let it happen again. And then he saw something else. A lab. A child. Born in a metal cradle. Not crying, just watching. That child was grown in 5 days. Trained in 10. In 15 days, he was in war machine. No, human, modified, shaped, rebuilt. He was the first of Earth's new army, and there were more. Thousands each one connected to a central mind, not an AI, not a machine. A memory. The memory of Earth itself. Yurn fell to his knees. You built. Soldiers from your own pain. No, the voice said. We built guardians from our failure. Yurn tried to stand, but the pressure in the room grew heavy. His mind was burning. The images would not stop. He saw a fleet, not of thousands, but of millions. Earth was not just preparing for galactic war. They were preparing for something worse. Something beyond the edge of the known universe. A darkness with no name. A hunger that devours light. And Earth had seen it before. We watched, the voice said, while you traded, while you argued, while you ignored the dying. We watched. Yurn gasped. Why now? Why return now? Because we were needed, the voice replied. Because someone cried for help. We remembered who we used to be. The lights dimmed. Yurn collapsed. He tried to send a message, but his comlink melted in his hand. A soft hiss came from the walls. You were allowed to enter, the voice said, but you will not return. And then everything went dark. Back at the council, they waited. Days passed, then weeks. No signal, no message, no trace. Drax was gone. They searched the system, scanned every asteroid, every moon. Nothing, only one thing remained, a strange file found floating near Eretos. Inside, a single sentence. He saw, and now he is part of us. Panic spread. Some council races began evacuating outer worlds. Others built new defense systems. A few even dared to consider war against Earth. But most stayed quiet, because deep down they knew Earth had allowed the spy in, and Earth had decided to keep him, not as a prisoner, but as a witness across the stars. The message spread. Earth does not forget. Earth does not forgive. But when it answers completely. And when it opens its doors, it may never let you leave. The stars had forgotten Earth, but Earth had not forgotten the stars. For hundreds of years, Earth stayed silent, no signals, no diplomats, no ambassadors to the Galactic Council. Most species thought Earth was dead, or simply uninterested. Now they knew the truth. Earth had not been quiet because it was weak. It had been quiet because it was healing. Yari Talon, a Hilari scientist who first called Earth for help, stood inside a strange white room. She had been invited by Earth itself. She was the first outsider to be brought into Earth's hidden station near the galactic edge. A man stood across from her, human, calm, gray eyes. No uniform, no name tag. He simply said, "You asked why we disappeared." She nodded, heart pounding. He showed her a hologram. It lit up the room with a swirl of old data images, news clips, video logs from Earth's past, and what she saw made her knees go weak. The man spoke. There was a time when Earth nearly ended itself. 3 times. Showed her the first collapse when Earth drowned in war. Nuclear fires burned cities. Nations fell. Billions died. The survivors hid underground. The planet healed slowly. Too slowly. Then came the second collapse, global climate disasters and AI rebellions. Floods consumed continents. Machines turned on their creators. Earth fell again. The third time was different, eh? Or not of weapons, but of minds. A virus, digital and biological, merged with human thought. Civilizations collapsed from within. People lost their will to live. Hope vanished. But still, humans did not die. They rebuilt from fire, from dust, from silence. We learned, the man said. We learned the cost of arrogance. The cost of trusting only in progress. Without responsibility, Yari watched in horror as the third collapse ended, and the fourth age of Earth began, an age of absolute discipline. Children were trained not just in science, but in ethics, survival, and restraint. Soldiers were no longer born. They were selected, shaped, and tested through simulations that broke the mind and rebuilt it stronger. Artificial intelligence was banned. Instead, they used synthetic memory networks, machines that could think, but not disobey. Not alive. Just smart enough to serve. Why didn't you return to M? The galaxy? Yari asked. The man looked up. We saw what the galaxy had become. Trade, corruption, power games. Everyone spoke of peace, but no one stood up when evil rose. She nodded slowly. And now, he said, you needed us. Turned. To her you called. We came. That's what we swore we'd do. Never start war. Never seek power. But if someone called for help, we would answer completely. Yari looked at the data again. Earth had hidden its pain for centuries. Its silence had been misunderstood as weakness. But in truth, Earth had been forging something stronger than weapons. They had forged will. Outside the station, black ships hovered in perfect stillness. Each one was more than a machine. Each one carried Earth's soldiers, humans who had passed tests no alien could imagine. Warriors who had survived simulations of galactic annihilation and still came out with discipline.
Outrage!
Yari whispered, you turned your own suffering into power. The man nodded. We turned our suffering into purpose. The council met in secret again. The members argued. Earth must be stopped before it becomes unstoppable. But how? We don't even understand their tech. They don't speak our language anymore. One Telenite diplomat finally said, no, they speak it, but only when it matters. He pointed at the reports from Hilari Prime Thoros. Vi and dozens of other worlds Earth had saved. Every time Earth said only a few words. No politics, no debate, just answers. But that makes them dangerous. Or maybe it makes them exactly what this galaxy needed. The council was now divided. Some wanted peace, some wanted war. Others wanted to disappear and hide. Back. Near the edge of the galaxy, Yari walked through Earth's archives. There were halls filled with old books. human voices recorded in every language Earth ever knew. She stopped at one. A single sentence played in the room. "If you want peace, prepare for war." The human man returned. He said, "We didn't want to be warriors. We became them because no one else would." Yari looked him in the eyes. "So what are you now, guardians? Judges? Monsters?" He smiled just a little. "We're the line. That should never have been needed, but now can't be ignored." Outside, the Black Fleet moved again. A signal had arrived. A new world was under attack. The Zarketh had returned, but different this time, stronger, faster, smarter. They had adapted, but Earth had been ready. The man nodded to Yari. "You wanted to understand? Come with us for what? To see why we cannot lose?" They entered a ship. It was alive with power. The crew didn't speak. They moved as one. Yari felt like she was. Standing inside the mind of a planet, the engines roared without sound. And then they were gone, vanished into the stars. On that day, Earth didn't just send ships. They sent a message. One not written in words, but in action. We may have hidden, but we never stopped watching. We never stopped preparing. And now we'll not stop until the galaxy is safe again. Even if the galaxy doesn't understand, even if the galaxy fears us, because Earth remembers what others have forgotten. The only peace worth having is the one you're ready to fight for. The Zarketh had learned. They had watched Earth's ships destroy their forces in other systems. They had studied the weapons. They had analyzed the formations. They had waited, and now they made a choice. They would strike Earth directly, not a colony, not a fleet. Earth itself, from the outer rim of the galaxy. The Zarketh gathered their armada. Not hundreds, not thousands, 12,000 warships, carriers, the size of moons, living battleships grown from biometal and fire. The largest invasion, its fleet in the known galaxy. The Council saw it coming. They didn't warn Earth. They didn't interfere. They only watched. Some hoped Earth would fall. Others prayed Earth would win. But no one was ready for what happened next. The Zarketh fleet jumped into the solar system, past Pluto, past Neptune, moving in like a black tide. But they didn't find silence. They didn't find fear. They found a wall above Earth, far beyond the atmosphere. Stood rings of metal orbital stations, perfectly still. Black as night, the Zarketh opened fire. Thousands of beams, plasma bolts, and magnetic blasts struck the rings. Nothing happened then. The rings responded, not with weapons, but with light. Bright white arcs stretched across space, and one by one, Zarketh ships vanished. No explosions, no debris, just nothing gone. A moment of panic spread through the Zarketh ranks. They shifted formation. They tried new tactics. They launched virus drones and anti-tech waves. Still, the rings stood untouched. Earth never spoke. No message, no warning, just response. The surviving Zarketh ships turned away. They tried to flee the system. They jumped into warp, but their ships never arrived anywhere. They simply never arrived across the galaxy. Silence followed. The Council waited for Earth to explain. They got nothing, not even a report. One Council scientist tried to scan Earth's defense grid. Remotely, her system melted. Her ship overheated in seconds. It self-destructed before she could send a report. Fear turned to horror. Our Earth hadn't just prepared for defense. They had created something else, something the galaxy did not understand, something not even Earth itself advertised. The outer defense layer, as it would later be called, was not made of turrets or shields. It was made of space manipulation, folded gravity, controlled time fields. Any weapon that entered never left. Any ship that jumped toward Earth vanished forever. The Halari, watching from a hidden satellite, sent a private message to Earth. "Why didn't you warn them?" Earth replied with 4 words. They chose to attack. In Council chambers, panic exploded. This is too dangerous. They have no limits. We must unite against Earth. But no one volunteered to move first, because they all remembered the Zarketh fleet. 12,000 warships. Gone. Not defeated. Erased. Erased on a distant moon. A small group of survivors from a neutral race visited an Earth's outpost. They brought a gift. A crystal containing their star charts and a message of peace. The Earth. Officer looked at them. He said nothing. He only nodded once. The message was accepted, and the outpost continued. It's silent work. No banners, no music, no new celebration, just duty. One of the survivors whispered, "They are not like us." Another replied, "No, they are something we cannot become, but we need them." In the shadows of space, Earth's fleets continued to move, saving worlds, stopping wars, and watching the stars waiting, because deep in Earth's command archives, buried under layers of firewalls, one message pulsed every hour. Threat not eliminated. Greater anomaly still approaching. Earth had not deployed its full force yet. What the Zarkith faced was only Earth's outer ring. The real power still slept inside. Black stations inside old moons, inside warriors who had not yet opened their eyes. The galaxy trembled, and still, Earth said nothing. Because Earth understood something the galaxy had never learned. You don't need to roar to be feared. You only need to stand still and not move aside. For centuries, the Council had ruled the galaxy. They created laws. They built systems. They decided who could speak and who must stay silent. But now, the silence came from them. After the Zarketh were erased by Earth's defense grid, no one dared speak for days. News spread fast. 12,000 ships. Gone in seconds. No war, no resistance, just gone. And Earth still hadn't said anything. No speech, no claim, just quiet, steady presence. But then one day it happened. A beacon activated at the center of Council space. A message simple.com. But from Earth, every race across the stars stopped. What they were doing? Screens blinked. Holograms lit up. The message played once, and only once. A man stood alone, wearing no armor, holding no weapon. His voice was firm, not loud. We were warned. His eyes didn't blink. For a long time we were silent. We watched, we listened, we rebuilt. He paused. You made laws while we bled. You debated while we buried billions. A silence fell. The council chamber held its breath. You thought we were weak. You thought we would vanish. But we didn't. We changed. He took a slow breath. You. Ask what we are now. We will answer once. Then the screen turned dark. For 10 seconds. Just black. And then images flashed across the galaxy. Ships larger than any seen before. Weapons, never activated until now. Soldiers with glowing eyes, walking side by side in rows of thousands. Satellites that bent light, cloaked in gravity waves, and a map of the galaxy with new zones marked in red. A voice spoke again. Earth does not seek war. But Earth will not allow chaos, though red zones lit up. These areas are under Earth's protection. Then more zones turned orange. These areas will be watched. And then, the most chilling part, a single black zone appeared. A section of space where the Zarkith homeworld once was. This zone is forbidden. If entered, you will not return. No warning, no negotiation, just truth. Then silence. No signature, no request, just a message. And a map that day, the balance of power ended. The council called for an emergency meeting. They shouted, argued, demanded Earth be stopped. But none moved because they all remembered what Earth had become, and no one wanted to test it. Some races began to adapt immediately. They moved colonies outside, the red zones. They shut down illegal mining in forbidden space. Others resisted. A small pirate armada entered a red zone. 2 weeks later, 6 ships, heavily armed, bold, they vanished within 3 seconds. Not a single trace. Their families received no message, only silence. The lesson was learned. Earth didn't bluff. They didn't speak twice. On the outer rim, small species that had suffered in silent slaves raided. Ignore began to receive packages, food, medicine, technology, with one word stamped on the box: Earth. These people didn't cheer. They cried, because for the first time, someone had heard them, without speeches, without meetings, just help, real help, and those who once ruled. They whispered now. They met in private. They watched Earth through broken networks, unable to spy fully, because Earth had closed its systems. No more hackers, no more infranos, no more games. 1. Council Admiral tried to send a stealth drone into a protected sector. The drone disappeared. Then his screen lit up. A Bubba face stared at him, not angry, not smiling, just watching. And then the message: try again, and you'll disappear next. He resigned the next day. The council, once proud, now feared every shadow, and Earth still didn't attend any. Council meetings? They didn't need to. They had changed the rules without. Stepping inside the chamber, a quiet shift, a silent crown. In deep space, hidden among old stars, a group of surviving Zarkith watched. They sent a message. It was not a threat. It was not a challenge. It was simple. We understand now. We will not return. Earth did not reply, because they didn't need to. They had already spoken, and now the galaxy was listening. For weeks, the galaxy was quiet, too quiet. No fleets moved, no wars started, no planets were raided. It was the calmest time in galactic history, because Earth had spoken, and the galaxy had listened. Every race now followed Earth's zones. No one entered forbidden space. No one dared challenge Earth's silence. But Earth wasn't celebrating. Deep inside Earth's core defense stations, something strange had begun. Warnings, strange. Signals, not from nearby systems. From outside the galaxy, far beyond the edge, beyond the stars. Mapped by even Earth's ancient satellites. Something was coming. It wasn't large, it wasn't fast, but it was wrong. The signal didn't follow any pattern, no known language, no math structure, not even chaos. It was something else, something that didn't belong. Earth's top. I couldn't decode it. Earth's best minds failed to understand it, and then it stopped. The signal vanished, and the stars on the edge of the galaxy started disappearing, one by one, not destroyed, just gone. As if someone erased them, the council didn't notice. But Earth did. They had been watching this for years. This was the real reason. Earth never attacked anyone first. This was why Earth kept its true power hidden. They weren't preparing to rule the galaxy. They were preparing to defend it against something worse. A being, or maybe many, older than stars, older than galaxies. Something that consumed light, space, and time. And now it had entered the galaxy. One of Earth's outer probes finally caught a glimpse of it. Only one frame, one. Before the probe melted from existence. In that moment, Earth saw it. A void in the shape of a thing. No face, no eyes, just the suggestion of a presence. Something that didn't. It moved through space. It made space move around it. Earth activated. Protocol 0. A command never used before. Every fleet returned. Every secret weapon was unlocked. Every hidden station powered up. This time, Earth did send a message to the Council. Not to ask for help. To warn them, one line. Something is coming. If we fall, you fall next. Council didn't know how to respond, but some of them began evacuating border systems. Others begged Earth to protect them. Earth said nothing more. They were busy. The outermost ring of defense. Silent Shield was activated. A wall of folded space and compressed time. But it wasn't enough. The thing came anyway. It arrived without light, without heat, without anything. Just absent stars. Behind it died. Ships inside it screamed. Not with alarms, but with voices. Voices of dead people. Voices from old wars. Voices of pain. no living being remembered. It was not a ship. It was not a being. It was the end of understanding, and it was real. Earth launched the first strike, a weapon that turned suns into dark matter. It hit, and for a second, the thing stopped. The galaxy cheered, but then it moved again. Faster, Earth fired everything. Black hole missiles, quantum storms, gravity, collapse bombs. Nothing worked. The outer ring was breached. Planets near the edge began vanishing. No explosion, just empty sky. And then Earth did something no one expected. They sent a single man into space. Not a soldier, not a robot, a human. He was old. He walked with a cane. He entered a ship made of ancient alloy, one never shown to. The world, it didn't run on fuel. It ran on something else. Something forgotten. He left Earth. Alone. And he flew directly toward the thing. Every telescope followed him. His ship reached the creature, and for the first time, it stopped moving. The man spoke a word. No one heard it, but everyone felt it. A sound not of voice, but of meaning. A command from something older than language. And the thing began to shrink. Not in size, but in presence. Its darkness faded. Its scream vanished, and then it simply dissolved. Gone. Forever, the man's ship was never found again. The council sent thousands of scouts. Nothing, just empty space, where the final meeting happened. Earth didn't explain. They only sent one final message to the galaxy. We are still here, but not for long. And with that, Earth began to change. Slowly, ships returned home. Defense stations powered down. Red zones faded. The maps were erased, one by one. Earth's mighty fleets vanished into deep space, not in fear, but in peace, because the true war was over. In Earth, Darth had won it for everyone, without asking for thanks, without building an empire. They just stood and held the line. The Council begged Earth to stay, to lead, to teach, but Earth never replied. They went quiet again, watching, waiting, just in case something ever came again. And in the end, the galaxy understood. Humanity was not the strongest because of weapons. Not because of science, but because they never gave up. They were ready to die standing, but never live kneeling. And now the stars were safe again, because Earth had answered the final call, and the galaxy would never forget.